Good evening, everyone, and welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I'm your host, your YouTube messiah, and often imitated, never duplicated backyard superstar Tim Vicious. I'm talking about Raw. It's the go-home Raw for Payback, and I say it every time it comes up. You know, the go-home Raw is probably one of the most important Raws of the month. And this one was really disappointing. This was probably the worst go-home Raw I've seen in a long time. And, yeah. It didn't even feel like it was a go-home one. There was very little talk of the show itself on there the whole time. It was more like it was just a regular Monday night. You know, and honestly, unless they'd have mentioned that Payback was coming up this Sunday, I would have never even thought it. So that, like I said, it didn't even feel like a go home show. But anyways, on with Raw. Raw started out, Steph and Hunter were in the ring. Steph winds up talking about how it's a historic night because Bryan's going to make the right decision that's best for business and give up the title and solve world peace and cause world peace and end world hunger and never mind. But you know, it talks about that, saying that, you know, he's got the heart but his B+ body just can't do it, and all that kind of jazz. And then Hunter takes the mic. Hunter winds up taking a stick and he starts talking on how every generation has their guys that rise to the top and you know, wind up exceeding all expectations. Bryan's not one of those guys, you know, whereas guys like Evolution are, and on how they're gonna take out the Shield this Sunday. Beautiful transition into building up for his match. I absolutely loved it, and I thought it was good that Hunter was out there at the beginning of the show for that, talking about with the title thing, because you didn't want to just make it look like Steph was just single-handedly holding that, because then it'd kind of take away Hunter's storyline aspect of being the COO. But they wound up saying big issue that they had was with the week before, so they called out Brad Maddox, to which I was surprised. I was like, oh my god, it's Brad Maddox? I thought he was dead. Because, you know, heaven forbid the general manager of the show would, you know, be on the show. Who knew? But anyways, they wind up putting Brad on the spot. Why did you have the Shield come out? Why did you tell the Shield they can come out? All this, that, and the other. I said only officials can. I was the official timekeeper. Randy was the official pantsless timekeeper, I mean. I was the announcer, or whatever it was. I don't even remember. I'm just still mad at the fact that, you know, Randy comes out, not even for a match last week, and was, again, no pants. Seriously, Randy, I'm going to toss you and Rusev in a Walmart and see on who buys what first. See if Rusev either buys shoes or if you buy a pair of shorts. You know? But anyways, yeah. Get my stuff all jumbled up. Anyways, Maddox winds up saying that they forced me to. They forced me to. I didn't wanna. They made me. And, you know, it's not like the Shield haven't bullied around Maddox before, but hey, who hasn't? You know? But they were saying, oh yeah, we know, we heard the stories, you were sent to the dock, you were sent to the locker room to get looked at and all that. But Brad, we have something to tell you. And then boosh, out comes Kane. He comes out, choke slams him, tombstones him, and then Steph creeps over and gives him the "you're fired," which I'm pretty sure Vince looked at that "you're fired" and was like, you call that one of my, you're trying to copy me? Really? I give that "you're fired" a 2 out of 10. That was disappointing. I expected better from my own daughter. Yeah, but that was for the opening segment. First match of the night, it was Cesaro versus RVD. And I felt sorry for Cesaro because he was pretty much carrying the whole match, and them two had about as much chemistry as Cena and Wyatt do in the ring. You know, it's not that they're both not good workers, because that is far from the truth. It's just they didn't mesh. You know, it didn't feel right. They had Barrett on commentary, which, you know, thank God on, because that was really the only thing that was saving it for the at-home crowd. Yeah, but it was just kind of disappointing on that part, because, yeah, I'm not behind RVD anymore. I can't be, because he's not cool. He's not. His character hasn't evolved any. Really, Rob, stop! Either put the weed down, get with it, and actually do something new. You know? It's that simple. Okay? Anyways, Cesaro won the match. While they were doing that, they were also talking about, well, on commentary, they were talking about on how Cesaro's got a U.S. title shot on at the pay-per-view, which hopefully he wins, and if he does win, hopefully that they push him right with it, because honestly, if they don't work Cesaro right with this, with him being with Paul Heyman now, all they're going to do is just rehash the same stuff they did with Curtis Axel this time last year. And yeah, no one wants that for Cesaro. Anyway, Cesaro won the match. Right after that, though, right after that, Sheamus wound up running down, hit a brogue, and then wound up just going back. Next match up, it was hold on. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Eva versus Summer Rae. Oh dear God. This was a bathroom break match. Yeah. This was the bathroom break match of the night. It's, yeah, let's face facts, you know. Eva Marie is nowhere near ready to be on the roster. She should be dropped down into NXT and get her ass handed to her by Sasha Banks on a nightly basis until she's ready. But for whatever reason, they brought her. She's on the main roster, and and aside from that, they also decided to say congratulations to her for being in Maxim's Top 100. Yeah, congratulations. You're now number whatever in the Spank Bank. In the top 100 Spank Bank uses in America. Yeah. Anyways, this match was just about as... It was like a train wreck, honestly. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't, just because I was like, you know what, this is so horrible. It's so horrible. It was that bad. And the only reason, and of all things, Ava's got herpes 1, and the only reason she did was because Layla came out with Fan Turn Your Head and Cough, and they wound up making out right up there on the ramp, and she was up there screaming like a banshee. And Summer was in the ring screaming like a banshee. Yeah. Really bad match, really piss poor, and I've said it a million times. Really, if you're trying to build up the women's division, I understand that. You're trying to build stories around the reality show, I understand that. But here's the thing. Notice the emphasis on the first word, reality. You know, if you're going to make it a reality, if you're going to have a reality show and have it be and have wrestling, have the stories be reality based. You know? Have them actually involve and have them, you know, screaming and cussing or whatever at each other. You know? And just have them actually wrestle. And if they can't, kick their ass to the curb. It's really that simple. Fans really want to, if fans are going to watch women's wrestling, they actually want to see women wrestle. It's that simple. Honest to God, if I'm lying, I'm dying. That's what people really want. But next matchup, it was kind of funny, not because of the match itself, but because of the reaction that wound up hitting Twitter. It was Drew McIntyre versus El Torito, and everyone's jaw hit the floor when they saw this match because they all automatically thought Russo booked it. And I'm not gonna try and plug his Twitter at all or anything, but I gotta give him credit for jumping onto Twitter because he is swimming neck deep in a sea full of smarks, and he is doing it with no problem whatsoever and taking it to them. But he wound up even saying, I am going to get so much heat from you people because you're all going to think I booked it. I honestly, my first reaction was not that this is a Russo booking, just who the hell really booked this? Was this you, Hayes? Because this looks more like something out of the drunken mind of Michael P.S. Hayes. But aside from that, that match was really nothing worth talking about. The only funny part on it was Hornswoggle running into the ring, trying to rip off Torito's mask and then yanking off his tail, acting like he wound up actually ripping a body part off. And then they show in the back Torito like, put it back on, put it back on, put it back on. And next thing you know, you just see Primo or Epico, one of them, just grab the tail and act like he shoved it back in him. And which case, I gotta really know, is shoving a fake tail up a fake bull's ass PG? Because if not, how did Vince get away with doing that on a PG show? That's my big question for the night. But next matchup, it was Zack Ryder versus my favorite part of the show, Rusev came out. Yeah, Lana came out, so did Rusev, but big shocker, and there was actually a few different things that wound up surprising me with it. One, they really showed that they needed to chew the clock because they had Ryder have his entrance and come out instead of just having a jobber entrance. And, also they had him doing the one waving the flag. You couldn't have somebody that's like supposed to be a patriotic one, or somebody who, is still willing to take a bump. Like Slaughter or Duggan or something. But either way, Ryder wound up coming out, was talking about, today is Memorial Day, and boom, cue Layla's music, she came out, did her pose, had everyone looking, and was just like, good Lord, look at them legs. Yeah. Or at least that was on how I took it, because that's on how I am every time I see Layla. Or not Layla, Alana. But she was and the way she's working the crowd, getting heat on them from, doing the anti-American thing, it's beautiful. It's really good and it's really beautiful. I absolutely love it. Because, it's a good example. Good example on when you have patriotism for your country. Remember back in the 90s, Bret Hart versus the Patriot, something like that. Or even when Slaughter was an Iraqi sympathizer and Hulk Hogan, like that. Now you got Rusev, who's Bulgarian but now resides in Russia, versus taking down Americans left and right and trying to set an example saying Americans are weak. You know, it's beautiful the way that story's telling. I like to see more of it. But anyways, as you expect, Rusev wound up taking down Ryder relatively quick. Ryder got like 3 punches in. After that, Rusev picked him up, slammed him, put him in the Accolade, and that was it. Next, refused to let go. Next thing you know, Big E's music hit, and just when you thought Rusev was done going and fighting black guys, right? Yeah, apparently Rusev is the racist guy in the back because he beats up all of the, he's beaten up every black guy on the roster at least twice over, you know? And he's only beaten up like maybe 2 or 3 non-black dudes. He beat up Sin Cara, Ryder, and Slater. That's it. Other than that, everyone else he's beaten up was a black dude, so I mean, it's, yeah. Anyways, Big E wound up taking it to him, tossed him over the ring, and then picked up the flag and started waving it like crazy, so can't call Big E Rye Black no more. Instead, you gotta call, something like Blacksaw Jim Duggan. Possibility. Keep that in mind, folks, if you're gonna wind up doing them jokes. Okay, next matchup. It was one that got made during a promo. From a promo earlier in the show. It's Cody Dust versus Randy and Batista. And the best part of that promo was Cody looked at Batista and called him a skinny jean sellout. And that was just phenomenal. I love that. We gotta, people, please just start finding a way to make skinny jeans sellout memes or gifs or whatever you can. And please, if somebody that's going to be at Payback sees this before the show, make a skinny jeans sellout sign. Yep, but on with the match. It was fairly decent. I liked it, but the big part I was really impressed with was, and I'm not a big Randy Orton fan, never have been, found him way too monotone and way too dry. You know, and I'm not just talking about his character or his mic, I'm just saying him in general, his ring gear, his ring skills. Ugh. Don't mind me, I'm running on very little sleep anymore. But, you know, Cody went to go and do the disaster kick. Randy wound up swaying away from the foot and from Cody's foot, and right out of nowhere, wham! Caught him with the RKO, got the 1, 2, 3. Next thing you know, bell rings. You think the match is over, but no. Instead, Justin Roberts gets on the mic and says that it's now an elimination match and it's no DQ. So Goldie's just looking, he's like, oh shit. So Dave and Randy wind up cornering him, and they just go to town on him. They hit him with like a Batista bomb and 2 RKOs, I think, or something like that. And either way, Dave and Randy won. They were doing that to try and send a message to the Shield, building up for the match at Sunday. You know, that is honestly really going to have to be the main event now, seeing as on how Bryan can't compete. You know, next matchup, Sin Cara versus Bo Dallas. Now, it's pretty much the same. It was pretty much the same exact match that we saw on SmackDown Friday before. Bo obviously won because they're building him up, and one gripe I got about Bo, and it's not on the character and it's not on the gimmick. I absolutely love it. It's just because it's the kind of snide, arrogant cockiness that you can get to have real good heat from the crowd. It's just, I mean, my big gripe is they get rid of Chris Hero, who's 10 times the wrestler Bo Dallas is because of his physique, and yet when you see Bo and he's going and doing that run in slow motion, you could see his belly, you could see his stomach moving like, like that, you know? And it just like, really? Dude, you got rid of Chris Hero, who was Cassius Ohno in NXT, and yet you keep Bo Dallas. Really? What the fuck? Who made that mistake? It just really, it made no sense to me on that, you know. I'm hoping that they do decent with Bo at the very least, because if not, this is just gonna be one big disaster if they don't. You know. Next up, it was Alicia Fox versus Emma, and honestly, I didn't even pay attention to who won because, you know, during the match, it was Alicia just wound up going full on ape shit, and courtesy of one of my cohorts from the Sunday Segway, Nick Meltzer McGee, he wound up informing me Alicia Fox's Negro status went from pretty much non-existent to full-on crazy bitch now, which means two things. One, I got a shot with her now because, well, majority of the women I've ever gone out with have all been crazy bitches. And two, she's almost up to full status again. But Alicia wound up going nuts and was tearing everything up, and wound up tearing up everything, and was actually, it gave a guy a huge freaking wedgie to the point to where, you know, his fucking underwear wound up ripping. And all I could think right there was, ooh, God, no, it's high school all over again. Yeah. Did that. Next thing you know, she went under the ring, grabbed like 2 or 3 cans of soda, and did like the Steve Austin thing, was spraying them all over herself, was going nuts on the ring crew that was there, like the camera and the wire guys. And yeah, I've already said before, I think Alicia's the hottest one on the roster, and I'm talking about active wrestlers. Lana's a whole other story, but Alicia's the hottest wrestler, the women's wrestler on the roster. But seeing her go full on like that was, whew, man, that just kind of made her hotness level go from here to like all the way up, where like, yeah, you can't even see on the camera from where. But either way, next matchup, it was Adam Rose doing his debut match against Damian Sandow, posing as Davy Crockett. And this is where I scream, what the fuck? 'Cause seriously, take a look for a second. Think for this. Sandow was trained by Kowalski. You know, I can name 2 other guys right now off the top of my head that were trained by Kowalski. Triple H and Frankie Kazarian. Both of them are trained by Kowalski. Both really great in the ring. Both really good on the mic. You know, Sandow, same way. He's got killer ring skills. He's great on the mic. And all 3 of them guys have the physique, have the build to go and make it in the business, because, you know, apparently ever since Vince went off with the 80s with WWF getting everywhere, now all wrestlers try and get that massive bodybuilder figure. it just, yeah, he's getting treated like this. I mean, what happened? Did that Sandow rant that happened, did they just magically erase the Sandow rant that he did? It just makes no sense. Yep, it's a shame, because Sandow has loads of talent, and he would do so much better in the ring. You know, even if you don't even have to, you can have him win matches. You don't even have to televise it. Just put it on main event then. You know, that way That way he can at least win some. I think he's only like won one or two, maybe three matches so far in 2014. But it's shameful. But yeah, it's partway through the match, cue Uncle Zebekiah, and Zabby winds up coming on down with Swagger, and they have Adam's Lemon. and next thing you know, see, head ain't all the way there. Adam winds up hitting his finisher. They call it the I don't even remember what it is. I don't even remember what they call it now, but it's a face cutter. On Sandow, got the 1-2-3, started swinging at Swagger, them two started brawling. No, they're gonna make that an unofficial. They're gonna announce, if they don't announce that match, you know it's gonna wind up happening at Payback anyway. They're gonna wind up having a match there. But in which case, weird random question. Is it odd that I would rather hang out with Leo Kruger more so than Adam Rose? If you leave a comment on down below on there, and while you're down there, hit subscribe also. But if I can't, or look for me on Twitter and tell me there. Next matchup, Sheamus versus Del Rio. Del Rio remembered his knee pads this time. And now, obviously you knew Del Rio was going to win because as the match was starting, they went to commercial, they come back and they say that Del Rio was dominating the whole time during the commercial break. That's the obvious tell that Sheamus is going to win. That's the obvious tell on who the other guy, on which guy's going to win. But either way, Sheamus wound up getting the win. That's not a big shocker. Del Rio's probably just looking at this point like, man, my contract expires soon. I really don't care. I'm just going to leave and go home. And, yeah, with the way Del Rio was treated, I don't blame him because he's an amazing, gifted wrestler. He just has a really bad, lousy gimmick. And that's his problem. Other than that, he's phenomenal. Sheamus wound up getting the win. After that, Paul wound up coming to ringside, wound up reminding us all that his client, Brock Lesnar, conquered the streak. There you go, that's my Paul Heyman impression on it. And Jesus Christ, I'm really out of it today. Anyways, Cesaro wound up coming out, wound up taking it to Sheamus, and then they walk away. Really good way on how they're helping build this up. I'm hoping that Cesaro wins and that they actually do something serious with the U.S. title again. Like I said, I've always been a fan of the U.S. title, more so than the Intercontinental title. Not because of it being U.S. and I'm American, so don't go thinking that. But more so because of the history and the lineage and the fact that the title dates back to the NWA days. That's why. That's me, though. Anyways, on with the final segment of the night. It was the contract signing for the Shield versus Evolution at Payback. They come out. Shield comes out through the crowd. Not even just walking normal. You know, they were coming down like they were storming mad, getting ready to go and rip someone's head off and shit down their neck. And I think I've done enough cursing because, like I said last week, had a horde of angry parents coming at me saying that their children are watching this show and they don't like my foul language. They don't like me teaching their children such foul and appropriate language. Okay. Well, okay. I'm told I'm still allowed to do my normal if you love me great thing at the end. So, we at least got that. Be cool, people. It's okay. It's okay. And now that I'm done with the bad joke, Shield get into the ring and they just toss all of the chairs. They toss all the chairs and the table out, and they just hold the little binder with the contract. And the whole time they're doing it, they're all taking separate turns on the mic, saying on how they're going to wind up taking out on how they're going to take out Evolution. You know, next thing you know, Evolution comes out. Dave's just in his gear. For some odd reason, Hunter's in a pair of jeans and an Evolution shirt with his hands taped up, as opposed to when he was there at the beginning of the show in a suit. And of course, Randy is pantsless. I feel so sorry for him. He's going to have a hard time going through customs and going through security checks when he gets to the airports to get around everywhere. Seriously. But either way, Hunter winds up talking about this is going to be the last time that the Shield are going to be seen on Raw. They're going to beat them. They're going to do this, that, and the other. You really want to do this? Because if you really want to do this, go ahead and sign it then. Then Seth signs it, hands it to Dean. Dean, for some odd reason, couldn't handle the pen, you know, and the pen actually fumbled and fell down. And thank God Dean can sell so well, because he just had that, he just wound up pulling off that I'm so mad I can't see or do anything right kind of look, and reached down, grabbed the pen, was like, "Argh!" and then handed it to Roman. Roman signed it. And then they all wound up swinging at each other and went at it until and it looked like Shield was going to wind up getting the upper hand at the end of the show until Hunter pulled out the sledgehammer and then wham, took him out. And wound up doing the triple power bomb and fade to black. Hoping Payback's really good. Really hoping that there's not going to be that many CM Punk chants, because we all know it's going to be in Chicago. So obviously, all the Phil Brooks marks are going to wind up doing that. And honestly, folks, y'all know I'm a big Punk fan. I've actually been compared to him. I was actually compared to him when I was still wrestling. You know, but the man quit. You know, it's been said on several different podcasts that he quit. So just let it go. Anyways, that's enough time for this show. So, like I always tell y'all to do, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch all the other episodes. Look for me on Twitter at Tim Vicious. Make sure y'all look for my backup account, Tim_Vicious. I get put in Twitter jail every now and again. Also, don't forget to check out all these cool-ass cats right here on Twitter. My brother from another mother, James Bell, my JX2001. That Roxy girl, Vicky Earls. Roxy and Vicky got their own YouTube channels. Make sure y'all check them out. I am Danny Sunday, Mucky Morris, Helen Robinson 82, Axel Mulligan. Make sure y'all check out Axel's other account, Darren Drambles, as well as his new YouTube show, Axel's Analysis. Man, absolutely loved it with this week. Loved on how you called a lot of the stuff on NXT, man. I wish I could say I'm going to watch NXT TakeOver live, but I got work that night. So I'm going to have to rely on you to help clue me in on what happened that night when you push it out. Sunday Segue, I guest starred on there this week on account that Vicky couldn't be on there, so guys, make sure y'all give a listen on there. Kenny, can't wait to get back on there for Beat the Clock. Simply Sabrina, Cranky Grandpa, Legion Lady Aaron, Oliver Ben, and Just a Stupid Mark. Make sure y'all also check out Ollie Ben's and Masked Mark's TNA Turnaround. Now, Ollie, I'm gunning for you, boy. You may be the young brain, but you're going to be dealing with the alpha brain on Beat the Clock. Alright, like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck yous.